Never take no for an answer. There is always a way to get to the right solution if you apply your mind. You know how people ask what keeps you up at night? What they should really be asking you is what gets you out of bed in the morning. To state the obvious, I tend to stand out in a room and I see one other young man here with a beard and a turban. But beards and turbans will do that to you. My part-time hobby is being randomly searched by the TSA at airports.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 with Believe Nation.
What's up, it's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. I believe you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and I want you to find it, embrace it, and make a difference using it. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew in today's lessons from a man who went from growing up as the son of an army general in India to spending 13 years working for Nestle and now becoming the CEO of MasterCard. He's Ajay Banga, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. So let's kick things off with rule number 1, take thoughtful risks.
And life is all about taking risks. And the one thing, I've got a little sign up in my office that says that done is better than perfect. And it is so difficult to make people in the company understand that. It is so difficult. If you don't take a risk, you won't make progress. That's such an issue. I started talking to our employees about taking thoughtful risks. And two things happened. The first thing that happened was in a town hall like this, I got a question from an employee saying, will we have a seminar to learn how to take thoughtful risks? And I said, no, crap. I mean, did your mother teach you one time, she must have, that you don't cross the road when there's a truck coming your way? Next time, you kind of learn, man. You don't, or you get run over. You got two choices. There's no such thing. You don't have a seminar to teach you how not to take a risk or how to take it thoughtfully. You've got to have it in your head and mind that says that a risk-reward equation makes sense. You do it in life at home. You do it when you get up when you get up from your bed, you're taking a risk. You could fall off the bed. You could fall in the bathroom and injure yourself. You could choke on your toothpaste. You took a risk, right? So who taught you about that? Nobody did. Why would I teach you in business how to take a thoughtful risk? A thoughtful risk is a risk that doesn't always turn out to be a loser. If it does, you're fired. If you make a mistake one time, it's cool. If you make a mistake a second time, the same one, then I have to ask how much intelligence you have. If you do it a third time, you should go do it with my competitor so that he has courage. It's actually not that difficult to fathom. It's really a very simple rule. It's common sense. And that is it took a long time for people to understand that. And so people's conventional wisdom will drag you downwards. You just have to be willing to take these thoughtful risks and not have 100% data every time. You just will not. You will never have 100% of the information.
Rule number 2, never take no for an answer.
Nestle taught me a lot of things. The guy, I still say that the guy who was the managing director of Nestle when I joined, many levels above me, a guy called Barry Ryan, is still one of the people I've learned the most from. His view was never take no for an answer. There is always a way to get to the right solution if you apply your mind. Don't take the hurdles that come in your way as the reason why you would move around them or give up. Or as in India, they say jugaad. Jugaad means you adjust for everything. He said, don't do that. That's the wrong way to do business. Go for it. Never take no for an answer.
Rule number 3, be urgent.
Our world today, with its amazing technological advances and the fact that this innovation cycle is ever shortening, this world has no space for those who procrastinate. It's that urgency that makes me say to colleagues of mine in the company that if you have good news for me, take the stairs. But if you have bad news, take the elevator. I need to know that quickly so I can do something about it. A lot of people think that urgency and patience are contradictory, and they could not be more wrong. You need to be patient enough to listen to everybody, but yes, you must have a sense of urgency to take a decision and to execute.
Rule number 4, find your purpose.
Please don't overplan your career. I'm really serious about that. Way too many young people stress too much about what they'll be doing 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. How could you know? When I was graduating, I had no clue what I was going to do with my life. other than I wanted to join a great global firm. At that time, that was the biggest opportunity in the India of 1981. Join a great global multinational. I got into Nestle, I went there. That was my grand plan. Get with somebody good, get with somebody global, do something that interested me, and that's it. Pursue something that feels like you, that gives you the energy and gives you some purpose. Take a risk, a thoughtful risk, see how it works out. You know how people ask, what keeps you up at night? What they should really be asking you is what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's feeling that sense of purpose, of belonging to something that's bigger, larger, more than you, more than yourself. And if you've got that, you will bring your heart and you will bring your mind to what you're doing, your heart and your mind. That's when the magic happens, both for you in your professional life, but even more importantly, for you in your personal life.
Rule number 5, try out new things.
So 13 years at Nestle, 2 years at PepsiCo, 13 years at Citi, now 4 to 5 years at MasterCard. That's quite a few career transitions that you've had. I think many of us expect to also have a lot of career transitions.
Yeah.
As you've gone about your career and made these big jumps, have you thought about timing and reasoning for when you leave one place and go to the next?
Timing very poor. I just make the jump when I think I'm ready to make it. In truth, in my generation used to stay in careers for a long time, 30 years in one company. You guys are different, and I think you've got the right approach to it. Because if you don't try out new things, if you're not willing to take a risk, you will achieve very little reward out of the system the way it's constructed today. And so I'm a big encourager in saying, if you want to move jobs or you want to move roles within a company or you want to move companies or industries, think about it, but go for it. Don't procrastinate forever and don't hesitate forever. So timing in my case was more about when I felt that I had learned what I could and I wanted to do something different. And my mind felt that I was reaching a point where I was stagnating.
Rule number 6, be completely paranoid.
Be competitively paranoid. And by that I don't mean be fearful, but I mean constantly ask yourself if you're missing something. Is there more to the problem? Is there a better solution? If you don't question everything, if you're not competitively paranoid, you will not have the sense of self-introspection that you so sorely will need to be a real leader.
Rule number 7, simplify your thinking.
And you learn that the hardest thing is to simplify your thinking and to communicate that in a way that everybody around you can relate to. You're going to take very complex thoughts, which is what business life is about, and then communicate them in the simplest possible way. Not the other way around, where people tend to take simple ideas and communicate them in a far more complicated way. And they don't do this for bad reasons. They do it to conform to the thinking that the devil lies in the details, and only those who are very well versed in every tiny detail are the smart ones who know what they do. The real fact is, the hardest thing to do is to simplify a complicated problem.
Rule number 8, have humility.
What are 1 or 2 things about you, personality traits, personal characteristics that have set you apart and let you have so much success where others have stalled or kind of reached dead ends in their career?
You got to ask somebody else who would evaluate me on that. I would tell you that I would think humility is actually a big part of it, so you can't throw it out the window. Because if you're not willing to learn from people and adapt and adjust and progress in your mind, you're always learning, you can't be in a company like this and succeed. It just doesn't make any sense. I think that's important to me. And I think I picked that up over the years in some ways from people I saw and watched. And Barry Ryan, for example, used to have the ability in Nestle to deal with the junior-most employee and the senior-most with as much interest of purpose with each of them. The gentleman at Citi, Sandy Weil, who was the chairman and CEO and the founder of the merged Citi Group, has exactly the same attitude. He can deal with the gardener in his vineyard. He can afford vineyards, so he's done well. And he can deal with the gardener in his vineyard with the same interest and purpose and passion as he does with a president of a country. So I don't know that you can divorce that from success. I think it's actually a key part of who you are and how successful you can be. I think you can be successful without the humility, but you won't enjoy it as much.
Rule number 9, be yourself.
My passion for diversity comes from the fact that I am diverse. I mean,
to state the obvious, I tend to stand out in a room and I see one other young man here with a beard and a turban. But beards and turbans will do that to you. You stand out in a room. My part-time hobby is being randomly searched by the TSA at airports. It's true, and I run a global company. So that's not exactly common for someone who looks like me. And I can tell you there have been 100 times when I felt different from everybody else in the room, and you realize very early in your career that if I were not comfortable with myself, then I couldn't succeed. So it's completely critical to know that you should figure out who you are and be comfortable with it. What's important is what you do and how you do it, not where you came from or what you look like. And that's just going to be very important for your future.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, think global, act local.
Embracing global work is the ability to understand that global companies will have scale, will have advantages of cost, but they will only succeed if they think global and act local, which a lot of people say, but very few people do. So being what I call glocal is actually what this is all about. So if you can adjust and adapt your product to really be local while taking into account what you get from your global feelings, then you are in a great place for tomorrow.
Now I've got two really special bonus clips for you on how to find work-life balance and empower the youth. But before that, I want to know, what did you learn from this video? What was the lesson that was the most important to you? You're going to make an immediate change somehow to your life or your business. Leave it down in the comments below. When you write it down, you're much more likely to take action. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself, and whatever your one word is, much love and enjoy the bonus clips.
Work-life balance is a very personal thing. There are guys who work 12 hours, 18 hours a day and think that they've got balance. There are others who work 6 hours a day and they think they've got balance. So I don't know how you define it for yourself, but for me, work-life balance requires, I guess, a couple of things to happen. One is you've got to enjoy what you're doing. You really have to. It's really, really critical. And if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's time to do something different. And that's part of the reasons why I've changed what I did over the years. Because if you're going to work as hard as we work, and I traveled probably 2/3 of the time. And if you're not going to enjoy what you're doing when you travel, why the hell are you doing it? And so work-life balance starts with enjoying what you do really well. At the same time, you've got to have time for yourself and the people who matter to you. By that I mean, not just helping Aditi move into a dorm room in Harvard, which, by the way, was up 4 bloody flights of stairs with no elevator, with a room partner who had a stupid shipping trunk that was bigger than my car that had to be carried up the stairs. And I used to call that the 2 Advil evenings, right? You kind of had them, and then you had 2 Advils so you could wake up in the morning without a broken back. Yeah. But that, you've got to provide time for that. You've got to provide time for their play with their acting in it on the small part that's third tree from left, because it's important to them. And so if you're not going to be there when they need you, then you've got no balance. So I was living in Hong Kong for a little while, running Citigroup in Asia, and I used to fly back from Hong Kong for one evening to be able to spend the time that was required if one of them or Ritu were doing something that was important to us as a family. So I guess you got to enjoy what you're doing, but you've also got to take out the time for the people who matter to you. And when you're with somebody, spend the time with the person. This stupid habit of having a BlackBerry and an iPhone in your hand all the time, honestly, you're not spending time with the people you're with. You're spending time with the instrument. And the instrument isn't your work-life balance. It's actually, in some ways, an invasion on your work-life balance. It's useful, don't get me wrong. I use the darn thing all the time, but it's an invasion if you're not careful. So finding the right space that says, when I'm with you, I'm focused on you, you matter to me, and I'm going to spend time with you, as compared to I'm doing that, but also doing this, looking at my email, doing phone calls, taking out paper, working on the weekends. You've got to figure out how to find that balance. That's what work-life balance is. The rest all kind of works out. Empowering the youth to be independently capable of leading a good life is our future. That's where it'll be. And I do a lot in that. I try and get involved with that in many ways, and whether it be with in the US or elsewhere. In the US, I used to be on the board of the New York Hall of Sciences, as your dean was saying. And that's because that Hall of Science is all about young kids learning about science. What STEM is now a buzzword, but that's kind of what I'm into. I used to be involved with the National Urban League, which is, I was deeply worried about the way the African American community, younger people in this country, do not have the same opportunities as some of the others. And their community isn't one. The Hispanics have relatively stronger representations. The Asians tend to do well because of various things in where they're coming from. The African American community, the younger community, is struggling in many ways. And we're all trying to do many things as people with them. But I thought the National Urban League had a head start on trying to do things with them. So I got involved with them to get after that young person in that community. I do it in India with a personal investment that my wife and I have made in trying to grow vocational training schools in India, because I believe that that will transform the ability for India's economy to cater for tomorrow's service economy. There's only so many engineers and doctors and lawyers that India needs. It needs waiters and carpenters and domestic help and drivers and people in the service industry, electricians and the like. And so I'm trying to put money into that in a way of transforming that experience in different parts of India. So I just think that doing things with young people and empowering young people is a big part of what we can do.
So let me give you the one-word secret to happiness. One word. This is all you need to be happy.
The most important word ever.
If you had to think of one word that's most important to you, or that sums you up, or that would be kind of like a little beacon.
Hey Believe Nation, if you want to know what the most important one word is for Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Oprah Winfrey, will.i.am, and Howard Schultz, I have a very special secret video for you. Check the description for details.